Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world or whatever time you'll be watching this video. So today's video is going to be about how a Trump-appointed judge has struck down a Biden administration immigration policy. So now that Donald Trump has won the 2024 elections, now we're seeing that, those people who he placed in certain positions, they are now going to be, basically they're now being triggered, right? So it's as if, a switch has been flipped and now they're gonna, start acting on, now that Trump is the president elect, now that they're going to start with their rulings and stuff, leaning towards Trump. Okay, so in the realm of immigration policy, the Biden administration set out with a clear objective, and that objective was to keep families together. So this commitment took shape in the Keeping Families Together program, which is an initiative designed to provide a pathway to legal status for undocumented immigrants married to United States citizens. The program launched with hopes of easing the anxieties of mixed status families now faces an uncertain future. In recent ruling by a federal judge has declared the program to be illegal, throwing the lives of countless families into turmoil and reigniting the debate over immigration reform in America. At its core, the Keeping Families Together program was aimed to address the plight of undocumented individuals living in the shadows, bound to United States citizens through marriage. These families, often living with the fear of separation, found a glimmer of hope in the program's promise. The initiative sought to provide a clear and accessible pathway to legalization, allowing eligible individuals to come forward, apply for work permits, and ultimately pursue citizenship. The program's goal was not just to grant legal status, but to recognize the fundamental importance of family unity in American society. The Keeping Families Together program, despite its noble intentions, soon became entangled in a web of legal challenges. A lawsuit spearheaded by Texas and several other Republican-led states argued that the Biden administration had overstepped its bounds. The crux of their argument centered on the program's reliance on parole, a legal mechanism allowing the government to temporarily waive certain immigration requirements. The lawsuit contended that parole, typically reserved for individual cases with exceptional circumstances, was being misused as a broad solution for a specific group, exceeding the administration's authority. The concept of parole in immigration law has become a focal point of contention. Designed as a temporary measure, parole allows the government to grant entry or extend the stay of individuals who might not otherwise qualify under standard immigration regulations. It's often used in cases with compelling humanitarian concerns, such as allowing entry for medical treatment or reuniting families after unforeseen circumstances. However, the Biden administration's use of parole in the Keeping Families Together program has been met with resistance. Critics argue that this broader application of parole stretches the limits of its intended purpose, transforming a case-by-case exception into a sweeping policy change. The judge's ruling, which is a blow to immigration families. In a significant setback for the Biden administration and the families hoping to benefit from the Keeping Families Together program, a federal judge ruled against this initiative. The judge's decision, siding with the lawsuit challenging the program's legality, sent shockwaves through immigrant communities. The ruling effectively halts the program's implementation, leaving the fate of countless families hanging in the balance. Wow. For those who had dared to hope for a brighter future, the judge's decision has cast a long shadow of uncertainty and fear. Behind the legal arguments and policy debates lie the human stories, deeply personal and profoundly affected by the fate of the Keeping Families Together program. These are not just statistics or case numbers. They are real people with real emotions, dreams, and fears. For undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens, the program offered a lifeline, a chance to emerge from the shadows and live without the constant dread of deportation. It provided hope and a sense of security, allowing families to plan for a future together, free from the fear of sudden separation. The judge's ruling, however, has rekindled those anxieties, leaving families in limbo, unsure of what the future holds. The uncertainty is palpable as parents worry about the impact on their children and their ability to stay together as a family unit. Children caught in the crosshairs of this legal battle now face the possibility of growing up without one or both parents, a heartbreaking consequence of a broken immigration system. The emotional toll on these young lives is immeasurable as they grapple with the fear of losing their loved ones and the stability they once knew. The human cost of these legal battles is profound, affecting not just the individuals directly involved, but entire communities that rally around them in support and solidarity. The Keeping Families Together program and its subsequent legal challenges are but the latest chapter in America's long and often tumultuous relationship with immigration. Immigration policy has been a political football for decades, with administrations swinging between tightening restrictions and offering pathways to legalization. The Biden administration, entering office with a more humane approach to immigration, sought to reverse some of the harsher policies of the previous administration. However, the legal battle over the Keeping Families Together program underscores the ongoing challenges in forging a cohesive and compassionate immigration system. The legal battle over the Keeping Families Together program unfolds against a backdrop of broader national conversations about immigration. The United States, a nation built by immigrants, continues to grapple with questions of who should be welcomed within its borders and under what conditions. Public opinion on immigration remains divided, with some advocating for stricter enforcement and others calling for more compassionate and comprehensive reform. The fate of the Keeping Families Together program, therefore, holds implications not just for the families directly affected, but for the nation's evolving understanding of immigration in the 21st century. In the wake of the judge's ruling, the Biden administration faces a critical decision: whether to appeal the decision or explore alternative avenues to provide relief for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. This decision is not just a legal maneuver, but a deeply human one, affecting thousands of families who live in constant fear of separation. An appeal would likely be met with fierce resistance from opponents of the program, setting the stage for a protracted legal battle. The courtroom will become a battleground where legal minds clash, each side presenting arguments that could shape the lives of many. The stakes are incredibly high, and the outcome remains uncertain. Meanwhile, immigrant rights groups are mobilizing, advocating for legislative solutions, and urging the administration to exhaust all options in defense of family unity. These groups are organizing rallies, meeting with lawmakers, and using every tool at their disposal to keep the issue in the public eye. Their message is clear: family unity is a fundamental human right that must be protected. For the families caught in the middle, all that remains is an agonizing wait, their future uncertain, their hopes hanging by a thread. Every day is filled with anxiety and fear as they look out the window, wondering what the future holds. They find solace in each other, but the uncertainty is a heavy burden to bear. Their lives are in limbo, and all they can do is hope for a resolution that brings them peace and stability. The legal setback faced by the Keeping Families Together program is a stark reminder that the fight for just and compassionate immigration policies is far from over. While the program's future remains uncertain, the stories of the families it aimed to help serve as a powerful state testament to the human cost of inaction. Their resilience, their unwavering commitment to keeping their families whole, will continue to fuel the movement for reform. The fight for family unity, for a system that values human dignity and compassion over bureaucratic hurdles, is a story yet unfinished. As the legal battle over the Keeping Families Together program continues, so too does the uncertainty and anxiety for countless families across the nation. These families, many of whom have already endured significant hardships, now find themselves in a state of limbo, unsure of what the future holds. The emotional toll is palpable as parents strive to shield their children from the stress and fear that permeates their daily lives. The judge's ruling, while a significant setback, has not extinguished the hope for a more just and humane immigration system. Communities across the country are rallying together, showing solidarity and support for those affected. Activists and advocates continue to work tirelessly, organizing events and raising awareness to keep the issue at the forefront of public consciousness. Their efforts serve as a beacon of hope, reminding everyone that change is possible. The Biden administration, facing mounting pressure from both sides of the aisle, must now decide how best to respond. weighing legal options against the human cost of inaction. The political landscape is fraught with challenges as lawmakers debate the merits and implications of various approaches. The administration's decision will be pivotal, not only in terms of policy, but also in setting the tone for future immigration reform. The outcome of this case will have far-reaching consequences, shaping not only the lives of individual families, but also the nation's evolving narrative on immigration. The stakes are incredibly high, as the ruling will influence public opinion and potentially set legal precedents for years to come. The stories of those affected by the program highlight the human element at the heart of this issue, emphasizing the need for empathy and understanding in the face of complex legal and political challenges. For now, all that remains is to await the next chapter in this unfolding saga, hoping that compassion and common sense will ultimately prevail. As the sun sets on another day of uncertainty, the collective hope for a brighter, more compassionate future remains strong. The resilience and determination of these families serve as a powerful reminder of the enduring human spirit, even in the face of adversity. Thank you for listening, and please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will be sure to make another video once new information is available on this program. Thanks, until the next video.